Hello and welcome to another TCAP recap. Tonight we're looking at Rolando Restocruz, the 33-year-old staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, probably on reserve because he was also working at a car sales lot, car dealership, I guess you would call it. But he got busted in the Fortson, Georgia sting, and his segment is such a treat. I guess his TCAP arc, to touch on that again, would be loss. The man loses a lot, and he's aware of it as he goes in. He immediately realizes that it's all in jeopardy when Chris walks out instead of a 13-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl named Whitney. Nope. Sorry, sir. It's just a nicely dressed man with a fine head of hair. But yes, so Rolando immediately realizes all of that is in jeopardy. You know, his pension with the military, he had just gotten a divorce, it had finalized the day before the chat started, I believe. And so anyway, that would make it even worse. His ex-wife would just take everything from him at that point because he would be on this. First off, he gets sentenced to 10 years in prison, 25 years probation. He only serves a little over 4, but he obviously is still on probation and on the RSO. Actually, as of April 2020, he was wanted by the state of Georgia for failure to register as a sex offender. And I shouldn't laugh about that. It's not funny for him to do that, and I hope that he has since gotten busted, but I don't see anything about it at this point. We can always hope. But yeah, his overarching story is loss, and he does lose it all. But he also is pretty lusty, like all these predators. Horny level at 9. Intellect, he's slightly smarter, 6 out of 10 than the average predator. Because he knows what's going on and he realizes it's all over. But at the same time, his chat log with the decoy is just he's talking about how he's in love with her and they're gonna run away and she's gonna be his Lolita, in the book. But maybe he didn't actually read the book and know what happens in the book. But yeah, it's by Vladimir Nabokov, by the way. I actually haven't finished it. I only read half of it on audiobook while I'm mowing mowing the lawn. It just did not catch my attention. I guess it's a landmark literary book, but reading about some guys lusting for a young girl is just not. I don't want to read about it in a serious manner from his point of view. I want to see him get busted by nicely dressed men with nice head of hair. Okay, let's get back to it. His intuition. What is intuition? He's walking into this thing fully expecting sex with this young girl. Let's take a look. Let's lower that. Oh yeah, he's also quite short, which is not a problem, except that he's a predo, and it just adds to it's not going to help him in prison, for example. So he should be thinking about these things. Come on, Rolando. Ah, jeez.
I made some sweet tea.
Married and looking for fun, 313, which I presume maybe a zip code. But yeah, he was married and looking for fun. Technically, freshly unmarried and looking for fun, but yeah, he found some fun.
On the table.
For us.
I just gotta put this stuff in the washer real quick.
In Georgia.
Ooh, Predator look back. can see it happen real quick here.
Put this stuff in the washer real quick.
In Georgia, the treat, if
he
you
made
will,
it quick.
was sweet tea, which is
But the house was kind of set back from other stuff, so you didn't really have to do the full, Dr. Wolin look back.
popular in the South. Restocruz comes in, sees the tea, pours himself a glass, and makes himself right at home.
Iced tea? Oh, how you doing, sir? Good. How much have a seat?
There's another video where you can see it from the opposite side, and you can see his face as he walks out, and he just smiles at him. Oh, how are you doing, sir? And it's because his brain just breaks in half at that moment. He didn't expect this. He didn't even know that this was something that he could expect by the way he responds. So it's not like he wasn't worried about a sting, but he wasn't even worried about not knowing about the possibility of this happening. Oh, and it just gets worse and worse for him. But yeah, so he comprehends that all in just a moment and realizes, hang on, wow, there's a few seconds of autopilot, which is why he says, oh, how you doing, sir? And then sits down before he snaps back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity kind of situation.
Yes, sir.
Well, who are you here to see?
I was going to meet her. That's it.
Meet who?
Your daughter.
My daughter.
Yes.
What makes you think it's my daughter?
I was just...
Man, Chris, I love that when Chris asked him that, because it really throws him off right away. They, for some insane reason, think that the father of the young girl they came to rape is just going to sit there and ask them questions. But for some reason they believe it, and Chris quickly disabuses them of that notion and just throws them back on their heels. You saw that he was starting to go with, I was just coming to meet her, and that's it. He's, he'll say he was gonna tell her not to meet strange men off the internet or something. But Chris, nope. And then
My daughter.
Rolando has to switch.
What makes you think it's my daughter?
I was just fooling around, sir.
Just fooling around, sir. Just to sum up, I'm fooling around, and that should clear it up, and I'm gonna leave, is what Rolando's hoping he could say. He's dumb enough to think that he could say that, and just maybe it would work. It reminds me of Kevin Westerbeck, who, when confronted with his nasty chat log, says, it's just bullshit talk. No, it's not. Jeff Sokol also says, chat is chat is chat. Chat is chat. No, chat is not chat. Maybe that's how you justify it to yourself, but it has real world consequences for the person on the other end. If it actually was, a young girl in any of these guys' case, some of the nasty, disgusting things they send the decoy and the things they say could have a serious impact on the victim. So fuck these guys in there just fooling around bullshit. And again, it's just such a bad excuse. Just so bad.
Yes.
What makes you think it's my daughter?
I was just fooling around, sir.
Restocruz makes it clear online that he knows what he's doing is wrong. He even tells the decoy not to tell her parents about their meeting because, in his words, it could be considered statutory rape.
Damn. Rolando Resto the Molesto, as the other soldiers in his unit allegedly called him after his arrest. But at Rolando Restocruz, the name is so iconic because he's such an iconic predo. He's definitely A tier. He might be A1, like one of the Titans. He pretty much holds down, he anchors the Fortson, Georgia sting, in my opinion, because his number one, he gets his ass kicked, gets sent to prison, gets sentenced to 10 years, even though he gets out early, much earlier than he deserves. but he loses it all. So he's also 33, and he obviously, as Chris just went over, knows he's doing something disgusting and wrong. So he's got it all. And then you have the lower Dumbos like Scooby-Doo and damn, I can't remember all their names, but those goofballs who are all in their 20s. There's so many of them. We'll get to them soon, hopefully. But yeah, Rolando, he anchors the whole thing. So let's get back to it. Chris is not going to let him off the hook easy.
So you ever been with an old guy before? No, I need you to stay in the chair, please. Just please.
Okay, here he goes. A novel tactic in TCAP. No other Predo tries this, as far as I'm aware. And it's submissive in the extreme. He's coming from the military background where, submitting to your superior, that's the only thing they want. They just want you to listen to them without skipping a beat, even when they tell you to do horrible things. Which, might be necessary for... I don't want to get into that. Don't want to sound inflammatory. But that's why he jumps straight to go into his knees. Now, there's this persistent rumor that he offered Chris Hansen a blowjob, and that it would be visible on the uncut. I do not think that's what would happen. Like, why would he think that Chris Hansen would let him go because of that? Like, it would be way more upsetting to Chris, I imagine, to get that offer from Rolando if this was if they were just like the only two people in the room and Chris had just busted him doing this. Offering him a sexual favor is just going to make him more upset and want to kill you even more, Rolando. So you got to be careful. And that's why I don't think even Rolando is not that stupid. Remember, he's slightly smarter than the average predator. Yeah. He's a gift to TCAP. Obviously, he's not a gift to the world, and it's really nice that he got taken off the streets and put back in his place, and hopefully... Oh, yeah, he's jumping registry. Hopefully they get him. Let's watch his fall from grace.
Just sit down, please.
Please, sir.
Chris is embarrassed. Chris is like, come on, man. Like, I live for this, but even this, I mean, you're making us all look bad.
I'm divorced. I just divorced yesterday.
You're divorced?
Yes.
And you have children?
He just got divorced. Chris adjusts very quickly to having him on his knees and decides, oh, you know what? I kind of like this. Maybe I should ask them to get on their knees in the future. Put that back in the old noggin and revisit it. That would be great if Chris did that to John Dupay. Like, John, I'm going to need you to get on your knees while you answer my questions. Johnny Connecticut would certainly do it.
Yes.
And how old are your children?
3.
How old?
3.
3.
3-year-old kid, man. Oh. So now he's going to lose custody of that kid. No questions, hopefully. Because he absolutely should not have custody of that kid. And he couldn't from jail, so he realizes with that question just one more thing that he's losing because of this, because of his stupid decisions. Alright, let's go.
Please, why don't you just have a seat in the chair? When I get there, I know the first thing that I will want to do is take a shower, so we can take the shower together.
Why? Why is that going to be the first thing you want to do, Rolando? Because you feel so dirty from what you're doing, meeting this girl? Also, Chris, again, asked him to get back in the chair. I feel like Chris is going back and forth in his head, thinking about the cameras. Like, will they be able to get both of us in a shot? You know, they're angled for him to be sitting in the stool to get the best coverage. So I got to get him back up in that stool. Yep, got to get him back up. Got to get the ratings. Back then, Chris, mind like a fine ticking watch. Chris nowadays, no comment, don't know the guy.
I will undress you, and you will undress me. For a virgin to have sex, it hurts, so it's better if I put some extra lubricant.
So right now, Chris has a rhythm and a sequence that he goes with every single time. He does switch it up, and he'll vary, how hard he'll hit, how incisive he'll make a comment, his tone of voice, his overall bearing. If they're real twitchy, about to make a run for it, he'll try to bring him in. For Rolando, who is still on his knees despite being asked to get up, Chris knows he's got him on the ropes, and Chris is just power driving gut shots and kidney shots and socking him in the face with these, reading back his chat log to him. Because could you imagine how... I don't even like to hear the sound of my own voice replayed back to me. Like, it's very hard for me to listen to these videos because your voice sounds deeper in your head, but when you hear it without it going through your face and through your nasal passages, it sounds higher. So yeah, it's tough for me to watch these and to make sure they're alright. But this would be just on a whole different level, because you don't expect your comments to be read back to you. It's easy to get carried away while typing out something on social media, for example, or in texts. It's a big problem with bullying, because it's much easier to bully somebody when you're not face to face, and it's much easier to sext somebody when you're not face to face, especially this situation with the decoy, the victim, being young. Reading these back to Rolando must just be penetrating him like knives, because each one is just a reminder, not of what he's done, but just how much he's gonna lose and how good the case against him already is. So, hammer away, Chris. Hit him as hard as you can. Read the whole damn thing back to him.
Sir, please.
Sir,
I'm leaving.
please. Some real classic lines from Rolando. Sir, please. Sir, can I go? So he's got some good lines, but they're laced with just such emotion, such sweet, fear and just supplication. Sir, please. Many other predators say a variation of that, but I think Rolando has the best iteration.
I don't know bother you no more. Please. I wasn't going to do it. I was going to just tell her that I cannot do it.
Well, that's not...
He's just cycling through the average excuses, I wasn't going to do anything. I just came to stop by and warn her about the dangers of the internet. He's tossing him out, and almost just because he has to at this point. I don't think he thinks they're going to work, whether he's on his knees or not. I think something inside him knows. That faint intuition finally kicked in too late.
consistent with what's here, page after page after page. Now, you're in the military.
Yes, sir.
And you've been to Iraq?
Yes, sir.
Well, you joined the military.
Chris going so hard right now. I mean, we get the edited version. It would be amazing to get the uncut. But Chris just keeps driving in different points. The family, the wife, the kid, the military. He's not letting Rolando off those ropes. Why he's got him there. In a way, Rolando is asking for it by just doing this. He could just get up and walk away. But he's hoping maybe, hey, I let this guy take his anger out on me, walk out with my head hanging low, as Chris says, maybe I can get out of this.
You were expected to uphold a certain level of behavior.
Yes, sir. I will do it from now on, sir. I swear.
Why should I believe that? During my talk with him,
I don't know. I mean, it's okay for Chris to bring in the military because it just reminds Rolando that's over with, but being a predo has nothing to do with military values. Like, the military has tons of predos among their ranks, so it's got quite the big problem. Read up on it. But the point being, like, the code of honor, it doesn't mean anything. Just the code of being a decent human and all basic morality tells you not to do this. Has nothing to do with other made up sets of rules. I mean, obviously the legal aspect of it, but for Chris, he should be hammering in just how much he's going to lose, I should say.
Restocruz actually gets down on his knees. And I didn't think about it at the time, but looking at the tape, it was almost as if he was getting into the POW position. And this was a military guy.
Chris, come on, man. He's kneeling down before you in supplication. What is the POW position? To be on your knees with your hands behind your head? Like when the cops tell you to put your hands on your head? Chris has these weird, fanciful insights that he thinks are major that turn out, with the passage of time, number one, to be incorrect, total duds, but even in the moment sound goofy. Like when he brings up internet addiction being responsible for their predo behavior. Everybody's addicted to the internet now, Chris. Everybody.
Who had served in Iraq. So it made sense that, when in trouble, you revert to this position. And I honestly think that's what he was doing.
I promise you.
I honestly believe that that's what Chris honestly believes.
You're talking about taking her virginity. You talk about how sex can leave a nasty mess. The experts would suggest that when somebody does something like this, it's not their first time.
Just weird foreplay as well, even if you're talking to somebody of age, to talk about the less appealing aspects of sex. Come on.
It's the first time, sir.
Oh, we've gotten around to it's the first time, sir. Of course, it's definitely not, but okay.
I swear, it's the first time.
Do you ever watch television?
Yes, sir.
Do you ever watch Dateline NBC?
Oh, God, here it comes. Rolando.
You ever see the Catch a Predator show?
Yes, I'm not a predator, sir.
I don't know if he knows specifically Chris's show or just the general concept because the show was popular. Maybe he does know vaguely about the situation, but if he knew that he was going to be filmed getting down on his knees and just acting like he did, he wouldn't have gone through all that trouble, I imagine. You'd have to be so fucking stupid to know about this show and still sit here and put on this huge display guaranteeing that you'll be featured in the episode.
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story. Now, if there's anything else you'd like to say,
Bazooka cameras,
I'd like to hear it. Otherwise, you're free to walk right out of this house.
as other commentators say.
No, sir, can I go?
Oh, hopefully you made it this far, but shout out to Saul for the video, for posting it. Sorry I didn't bring that up sooner, but I'll put the link in the description.
Yes, absolutely.
No, sir, can I go?
Sorry, I missed the face.
Otherwise, you're free to walk right out of this house.
This is also the face that they use to show when they put his chat log on the screen. They don't use his actual profile picture, which is awesome. But I love his little, sir, I could go.
No, sir, can I go?
Yes, absolutely.
Please don't.
Please don't put this on TV after I just put on these fireworks for you to feature. Please, sir.
Put this in TV. Don't put this in TV, please.
I love how he starts whispering like this. Okay, sir, I know I was talking about just letting me off the hook earlier, but just, this is more serious. This is real. That was all bullshit. Just don't put it on TV, that's all. Like, he's now serious, or more serious than he was before, as if that was any less serious. Rolando doesn't quite understand the situation, that's for sure, because the cops, if he knew the cops were waiting outside, that's a way bigger immediate problem than trying to argue with this guy about putting it on TV. Maybe it's just a Hail Mary. Gotta give it a shot.
No decisions have been made yet.
I swear I will never do this.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave now.
Ooh, someone gotta ask you to leave. Oh, man, he struggles mightily to get up with the burden of what has now been placed upon his head. Oh Christ, oh God, I'm so fucked. With his head hanging low, he heads for the door. That's what Chris says in one of the segments. It must not be this one. God damn it. Oh! Maybe it's still to come. Oh, he's getting his keys out.
Get on the ground.
Please get on the ground now.
I do not think that he thought or he knew anything about the cops being there. I think that was a surprise. Because he's still walking. He actually straightens up a little bit. Like, okay, I got done putting on that act. I'm going to get out of here. And then when he hears the cops, he freezes in place like it's a cartoon. So that's quite the dedication to pretending you don't know that they're there.
Get on the ground.
Please get on the ground now.
Get down.
Oh.
Get down. Down.
He's crying. Oh, he's crying. He's not happy. A sob job, as Walls would say. One of the best. Oh man, he's one of the best protos. I'll just say it.
The tears keep flowing as the police arrest him, but his sob story may seem less convincing once we show you what the police find in his truck. Gifts he brought for a 14-year-old.
How about Astroglide? Is that some kind of sexual lubricant?
Yes, sir.
You brought that with you? How about panties and a camisole?
Yes, sir.
What the fuck was this guy doing? He's declaring he's in love with her. He's bringing her all these gifts. This is definitely not his first time. He came in there smooth. He knew what he was doing. He knew how to groom them. He knew how to get make them feel indebted to him. Rolando, wow. He's a bad one.
The webcam.
Did you buy the webcam?
Yes, sir.
Why did you bring it with you?
Because I promised her that I was going to give her one.
He wanted
It was
her to
all
send
there in the
dirty
chat
videos,
logs that
probably.
Perverted Justice provided to law enforcement. Remember, his screen name is Married and Looking for Fun 31313.
Does the screen name Bedhead Red 14 ring a bell with you?
That's with.
That's Whitney. And Whitney, you believe to be a 14-year-old girl, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, around
Man, he
6:56,
just spills his guts. So
you
he
told
gets,
her after some chat,
he should
I
have
want you in my
talked to him.
chest after we do it all night sleeping
Obviously.
together. Is that you?
You know, you should never talk to the cops without your lawyer or a lawyer present who's on your side, because they will lie through their teeth. They're allowed to do it, and it's going to stand in court. So you won't be getting that thrown out. It's not like Law and Order SVU where they follow the rules and feel bad when they don't. They don't give a fuck. They're just going to try to do everything possible to get you thrown away for as long as possible, which in Rolando's case is good because he committed a bad thing. When they're doing it to drug addicts, it's not a good thing at all. So that's why it is so important that we have those constitutional rights, Miranda rights, all that good stuff that the current SCOTUS is taken away from us. Supreme Court, if you're living in the U.S., but you need those because they protect the good people that get caught up in a shit situation or, even get bad, wrong place, wrong time, whatever. They're there to protect good people, and the cops are supposed to be good enough at their jobs to catch the bad people without having to break basic constitutional rights. Anyway, I'm off my soapbox. We're almost done here.
Then you say, I love you, baby. And then you say, I want to be your loving husband forever. And you're nodding your head yes? Okay. Down a little bit further, Married and Looking for Fun says,
we're gonna wrap. We're gonna skip past this because I want to keep
If the guy talks
within 30 minutes.
Look to your left.
But I really want to see him go to jail and put on his his jailhouse outfit.
Soldier is taken to the county jail.
Look to your left for me.
Where officers take his mugshot, fingerprints,
He's so unhappy.
and place him in a cell. 2 days later,
he's so pissed. Oh, he's dispensed with all the bullshit, and now he's just letting it show that, man, fuck, I got caught. I'm losing everything. He's not pretending to feel bad about it anymore.
Rolando Restocruz.
he goes before a judge.
Mr. Restocruz, you're charged.
Ooh, 1 night in jail, and he softened up a lot. He's looking terrible. Oof. There's that nice suit of his that the county gave him.
With criminal attempt child molestation.
This would be just a great piece of art, just to have a high definition version of this posted and framed on your wall. It would be called Justice Served. That would be great. Oh, man. I wish. Okay, if I could find a nice enough screenshot, I would definitely do that. It's okay because it's him getting justice from this giant talking box. And I love that it's a lady judge too, telling him off because he's just a fucking dirtbag and going after underage girls, doesn't respect women, girls, doesn't respect females in general. Just a fucking dirtbag misogynist.
Felony, it carries a penalty of 1 to 20 years.
And bail is set.
All right, on the criminal attempt child molestation, I'm going to set a $15,000 bond.
15, that's not high enough.
I'll take it.
It's in there nice and tight.
Hey, baby.
That is Rolando Restocruz, everybody. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Whoever you are, wherever you are, it's much appreciated. As always, thank you to the people who post these videos and all the other commentaries on TCAP. Really appreciate it all. So, have a nice Saturday night and catch you on the flip side.